So you want to build your own social media marketing agency, and you've probably binged watched hundreds of videos already on YouTube of people talking about how they built their SMMA, how you should do it, and the approach that you should take. Well, I'm here to tell you that in this video, I'm literally just going to tell you exactly how I did it. I'm going to tell you how I think it's best for you to get your very first client, which is going to be the whole point of this video. I'm going to tell you the different ways you can get your first client and the different acquisition models and my personal recommendation on how you should go about it and the logic behind it, right? So I'm going to use a bunch of logic in this, and hopefully if you follow through, it will make perfect sense to you. So I've made a very nice diagram here, as you can see. And, you know, as you can see, the center of it is, so you want to build your agency, okay? So this is how you're going to go about it. One option is cold outreach. Now, I'm sure you probably know because everybody on YouTube and Instagram talks about social media marketing. You should cold call, you should cold email, you should shoot Instagram DMs. Everybody has their own approach for doing this. The truth is, cold outreach is very difficult, especially now coming to the end of 2024, because you're competing against pretty much everyone else who's watching the same videos as you on YouTube. Those videos where you watch, you know, talking about SMMA and going through a cold email strategy. If you take a look at the views on that video, there's probably over 100,000 other people who have watched the exact same video as you and are implementing the exact same strategy as you. So it's ultra competitive because it's lower barriers to entry, it's easy to do, and there's videos online talking about it. So for you to make cold emails work when there's hundreds of thousands of other people trying the same thing, you need to be really unique and you need to come up with your own innovative style of cold emails. Now, it's so hard, in my opinion, to get conversion rates on cold emails. I'm saying this as somebody who's done cold emails. I've done cold calling for 2.5 months, 100 calls a day, $100 a day. I've done Instagram DMs. I hired a team to do that. I've ran Facebook ads. I'm telling you, cold emails is very difficult. And the best way for me to translate that to you is, when was the last time you actually opened up an email yourself from someone trying to sell a service to you and you went on to pay them £2,000 later in the future? Likely you've never done that before. And if you have, great. You know, cold emails do work from time to time. If you send them at the perfect time, it could turn into a client. But it's just so competitive. Your conversion rate is going to be very low. It's not a sustainable way to consistently get clients. And so I personally would avoid cold emails to start off with. Cold calling. Now, this can land you your first client. It takes tenacity, resilience. You're going to get a lot of rejections, but it's going to teach you how to talk, how to convince, and how to sell. And that is actually going to be a skill that's useful for your agency later down the line. So that's not a bad idea. If you want to know exactly how to cold call, it's easy. Pick a niche, whether it be kitchen remodelers, aesthetic clinics. Go on Google, type in, you know, aesthetic clinics near me, and just call all the people in the list, and then do it again for a different city, a different city, a different city, and just keep doing that. That's what I did with kitchen remodelers. I was calling anywhere from 50 to 100 companies a day, and it took me 2 months of calling people before I landed my first client through that. And that first client was on a money back guarantee basis, so it wasn't even like a fixed upfront payment structure. Awful way to get your first client, but it will teach you a lot of skills. Instagram DMs, I hate it unless you already have content that you're posting consistently through Instagram. It doesn't really make sense. If your Instagram is just full of images of like you when you were traveling when you were 17 to Spain, I just don't think that it's a professional way to get proper high level clients that are going to charge. You're going to charge £2,000. If you have an Instagram where you're talking about what your offering is, you know, your portfolio for Facebook ads, the clients that you've managed in the past, if you're centering it around business and you're throwing Instagram DMs out there, that would make more sense. Facebook ads is my favorite on this list for cold outreach. Okay. I'm not a fan of cold outreach, but if you're going to do it, Facebook ads is the best. I currently run Facebook ads, not for my agency, for another, you know, not for my Facebook advertising agency, but for another company I'm running called Upmatch, which basically helps freelancers get more clients. And it's costing me about £18 per booked appointment. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're starting out an agency, this is an expensive option to start off with. If you're going to do Facebook ads properly, and nobody else is going to tell you this, you know, if you're going to do it properly, you want to be spending anywhere from £50 to £100 a day at least, right? £50 to £100 a day is at least £1,500 a month, at least. Anything less than that, your chances of success diminishes because you don't have enough spend to get yourself enough appointments and meetings to then close and make the money back. You know, if you're only spending £10 a day and you do that for 30 days, that's £300 you've spent on ads. £300 is costing you, let's say, £35 per booked appointment. That's 8 calls. If you don't close that 8, you're out, right? You're out of money entirely. But if you're spending, let's say, £60 a day on ads, that's 1,800 a month. That's 51 calls. You only need to close one of them to make the money back, because if you close one client for £2,000 retainer or 2 clients for £1,000 retainer, you've made all that money back. So Facebook ads is way harder to make work if your budget is low. So if you have a limited budget, don't consider it. I'm spending between £60 to £100 a day right now on ads, and it's costing me around £18 to £19 per booked appointment. So cold outreach is the first one. I don't personally like cold outreach. If you want my honest opinion, the best way for you to get your first client for your agency, whether you're offering Facebook ads, SEO, web design, it doesn't matter, okay? The best way is Upwork. And the reason for that is simple. Upwork is filled with warm leads. Clients who want your services are already there posting contracts saying, I want your services. They're literally saying that they want your agency services for what their business does, right? So there's hundreds of contracts posted every day saying, we need Facebook advertising services. We need a Facebook ad specialist for my e-commerce brand. I need a lead generator for my aesthetic clinic. And you have the service that you're able to provide these clients and work with them. Like you literally fit the puzzle. They're already there saying they want it. And so the idea of doing cold outreach when something like Upwork exists is absolutely crazy. Upwork has over 40 million users every single month. There are a bunch of opportunities on Upwork, and yes, they are high ticket. I myself, for the past 18 months consistently, have landed Facebook advertising management service clients through Upwork only. That's my main acquisition model, okay? And I have an entire system in order to do that. Upwork is brilliant, okay? You can get high ticket clients, so don't let anybody convince you that you can't. It's just about how you sell and how you talk in the sales calls and how you present yourself that determines how much you're going to be able to dictate your pricing, okay? Now, the platform is more trusted, right? People trust Upwork more than they trust the funnel that you've built through Facebook ads or the cold call that you dialed when you reached out to them. There's more trust on Upwork. And so that makes it a lot more easier for clients, potential clients, to be willing to pay you £1,000 a month because they're doing it through the platform and they feel more trusting in doing that. Whereas if they've never met you before, but you reached out to them through a cold email and they got on a sales call with you, they're less trusting to send you £1,000 through Stripe, okay? The fact that you're on Upwork gives you some credibility. And so this is important when you're new, when you have no agency. Upwork will give you that initial social credibility you need, that trust you need. It will also connect you with clients who are looking for your services already, okay? And if you don't know how Upwork works, is clients post contracts stating what it is they need, whether it's Facebook ads or website design, and then freelancers / agency owners will bid on those contracts, and the clients will pick one person to proceed with. So they'll pick a freelancer or an agency to proceed with. And the great thing with Upwork is you'll build up a portfolio which turns into a snowball effect. What do I mean by that? When you get your first, 5 clients through Upwork, you can get them to leave reviews on your profile. Your profile shows how much traction you've gotten, how much earnings you've had over the past 12 months. And so that gives you more social proof the more you get clients, right? So after you've had 20 clients through Upwork, your profile shows that you're experienced. And so there's no disputing that. The client is never going to dispute your experience because your profile shows it. Whereas if you're running your own agency and getting clients through Facebook ads, it's a lot harder after the 10th client to convince the 11th that you actually have the experience because you have no proof of that. You can show them an ad account, you can show them images and videos, but there's no proof. Whereas with Upwork, we know Upwork is a legitimate company. We know that the platform or marketplace is well organized. And we can look at profiles and see, are they actually experienced? Because it's all legit. You can't fake it. And so that's why Upwork is great. If you're in a position where you have no clients and you have no one that has ever worked with your agency and you just want your first client, this is the best answer. Sign up to Upwork today, make a profile. I've even made a full A to Z Upwork tutorial on this channel where I literally build an entirely new account from scratch and land my first client through that account for $1,200 a month on retainer. So you can watch me do it. Now, the other thing I want to cover is pricing. Now, everybody's probably wondering, like, how do I price my services? If I'm on Upwork, am I going to be able to close them for £2,000, £3,000 a month? My honest suggestion to you is, if you're starting out, whether you're trying to get clients through Upwork or cold outreach, you shouldn't worry too much about the pricing for the first 3 to 4 clients. Your biggest value of what you'll get from your first couple of clients is the experience of how to deliver results, how to manage clients, how to conduct sales calls, how to ensure retention from a client, how to keep them satisfied, how to manage communication with the client. There's so many things you're going to learn from that experience that is infinitely more valuable than the profit margin of your first client, okay? You're going to make a lot of money with your agency by actually being good at working with clients. You're not going to make a lot of money from your agency by trying to get the biggest margin off the first client. That's not going to help you. You should try and sign a client and do your absolute best to deliver genuinely good results and good value. That's a whole other subject, but that's what you need to do. And that's where you're going to learn to build a legitimate social media marketing agency in the future. And so it doesn't matter if you can get them for $500 a month, $2,500 a month, $5,000 a month, even £150 a month, do it. My first client, I did it for a 30-day free structure where it's like at the end of the 30 days, if I don't hit a target, they don't have to pay me. And it was such a ridiculous target that I knew I wasn't going to hit it, but it gave me the opportunity to work with them. And my first client was Gloss Kitchen, so shout out to them because they at least gave me the opportunity to do it. So you shouldn't care about pricing at this point. Don't make that mistake. I know that sounds stupid. I know you're trying to build a business and you want to make money and that's why you're here. But if you actually want to make money, you should care about the experience of working with a client and figure out how to deliver the best value. That will translate into money later if you don't quit, okay? And also, if you're doing cold outreach, you do need a money back guarantee. You do need a great offer. Everybody talks about this on YouTube and it's kind of corny, but it is true. If you're doing cold outreach, you need an offer that is irresistible. It's hard to say no to. But if you're on Upwork, you don't need that. So that's why I put here, you can see on Upwork, you don't need a guarantee. I have never needed to close somebody through Upwork by saying, you know, if I don't get you this in the next 30 days, it's money back guarantee. You know, there's no risk for you. I don't need that hard sell. They already want the service. They already posted a contract saying they want it. I don't need to convince them with a ridiculous offer that's favorable for them. And so you don't need an offer if you're on Upwork, which is another plus. Now, how do you get clients through Upwork? Now, a lot of you, I'm assuming, don't know how Upwork works and you're wondering what the bidding strategy is. Well, let me tell you how I do it. On Upwork, as I mentioned, you've got contracts and you're going to bid for those contracts. You're basically going to that's how you reach out to clients, right? You bid on their contracts. You're going to bid on 10 to 20 contracts every single day, okay? Every single day, you're going to wake up, you're going to spend 2 hours a day finding 10 or 20 contracts and you're going to apply to those contracts, okay? It's like an application. It doesn't take long. Each application will take you no more than 10, 15 minutes and 5 minutes once you get really fast, okay? Now, if you're reaching out to 10 to 20 contracts a day, what that means is you're reaching out to 600 potential clients every single month through Upwork. If you close 2% of those, that's 12 clients in the month. If you close 1% of those, that's still 6 clients a month. Even if you close 0.5%, that's 3 clients. And if you close 0.25%, that's 1 to 2 clients a month, okay? So do the numbers, because the way you're going to make this work to get your first client is fully going hard on outreach and picking a method of outreach that makes the most sense. These 600 people you're reaching out to said that they want your service. They are saying we need Facebook advertising for our e-commerce brand or local business or aesthetic clinic, whatever it is. So you're reaching out to 600 people and you only need 0.25% to close for you to make the money back. Because if you close a client for £1,000 in the first month, you're making all that money back. Your only cost of doing this is the connect fees. Upwork charges you to reach out to clients and bid on their contracts. And they charge you in the form of a token, which is called connects. Now, connects has its own pricing structure, like 300 connects is like $50. And so usually for 600 applications a month, you're looking at around anywhere from 400 to 800 pounds a month, right? It can vary. It depends on the niche. Now that is costly, but it's cheaper than Facebook ads. You're reaching out to warm leads and no risk, no reward. If you're trying to find a method of outreach which has zero investment upfront and zero risk, it's going to be very hard for you because you're going to be competing with everybody else who is scared to risk money. And your competition is higher. And so the cheaper options tend to be harder to make work because there's just so many people doing it. Now, my advice to you is include a Loom video in your cover letter. Your cover letter is what you're going to use to bid on applications. So when you reach out to a client on Upwork, the message you send them is what we call the cover letter. And so you're going to write a really nice cover letter, you know, very systematical, very professional. And then the first 2-3 sentences, manually adjust it to the client's requirements. So it seems that, you know, you've personalized the message, and include a Loom video at the top. Record a Loom video once and start off the Loom video saying, hey, I just came across your Upwork job proposal. I think my skills are perfectly suited for what you're looking for. Here's a little bit about me. Here's my background. Here's my portfolio. This is what I've done in the past. And you can just be authentic on that call. Use good lighting, good microphone, and include the video in the cover letter. It makes all the difference, right? When a client sees your application and watches your video, you're off to an advantage over the other applicants because they got a chance to really semi-meet you online without having to schedule a video call. So that is my recommendation. And so that is pretty much it. You know, I kind of recorded this off the cuff because I've spoken to a lot of people today who are trying to build their agency and they're doing cold outreach, and it kind of just bugs me to see how many people out there are actually following what all these YouTube videos online say of like cold emails, cold DMs, cold outreach, right? It's not to say that these methods don't work, but you know, you got to adapt to the way the market is. Right now, everybody's doing cold emails. Stop doing it. Figure out a method of acquisition where you can get in touch with warm leads, warm clients, people who are serious about needing your service. And that way you don't have to make a ridiculous offer. It's a much easier sell for you when you get on the sales call, and you can build an actual career out of this. So I myself have been using Upwork for so long that now it's just systematical. I get clients who I met with 2 months ago through Upwork message me back saying, hey, you know, let's proceed on this project. I get referral clients. I get clients who I've worked with in the past coming back again. I get new clients, new prospects, new sales calls every month. And so Upwork is legitimate. It can make you a real serious stream of income. And so I just wanted to make this video unedited, uncut, just to be authentic, because I really think that if you take this advice, you'll be able to land your first client in a month if you're dedicated on your bidding strategy on Upwork and you're willing to risk the connect cost. So any questions, guys, feel free to comment it down below. I'm here to help you. That's why I make these videos. And if you want to know more about what me and my team do, we run a company called upmatch.io, where we basically work with freelancers, agency owners to get them clients through Upwork. So we have an entire team. It's not just me. It's not a one-man army business. I've got an entire team who basically together, we manage your entire account. We do the outreach for you to save you hours in the day, and we do it in a very professional manner. So if you're interested in that, just go to upmatch.io and you can book in a call and you can speak with me directly.